Pleased to introduce our project with RWI Synthetics. I'm joined by Myrna Bittner, CEO of RWI Synthetics, and Gary Rector, data scientist at SRP. This project was a proof of concept to see how an application of artificial intelligence known as synthetic intelligence could be used to create a dynamic simulation environment in which to measure the impact of a dual disaster in a utility system. We chose an area of metropolitan Phoenix, Tempe in Arizona, and we looked at the impact of a disaster coupled with the pandemic.
So as Omar was mentioning, we tackled an area of Phoenix, Tempe, an SRP service area, and we were able to create a living digital model, so a synthetic twin of this area. And this area included 18,000 households, about 2,000 businesses, and we were really able to apply our modeling technology to bring these things to life. So we first laid down the geospatial kind of accurate physical infrastructure in the area. We were able to do this and synthesize the grid. We were able to apply the consumption patterns that have shifted and changed during COVID. And then we were really able to delve into who is in the area and what might be the impact of this dual disaster. So it was rather a unique project because we were able to model the grid, but then we had to turn the lights out. And this was where some of the really important findings and work was done. So we were able to synthesize the demographics of the area, the psychographics, their forward-looking energy plans, things to do with their health and the disease rate and transmission rate of COVID-19, and really kind of understand the stress levels of the population that might be impacted during this outage and how the outage would affect who needed to be hospitalized and how many, who might be seeking, you know, the really vulnerable populations that might be seeking even backup power during this time for medically assisted breathing. So really be able to delve into every different corner. We looked at businesses and looked at who had access to backup and auxiliary power gained from data around the U.S. in terms of generator sales and surveys from businesses. And then looked at even things like the GHG emission hit during those outages as those businesses' backup power and auxiliary power kicks in. So this was some of the really interesting kind of then what-if questions became how to inflect this environment. So the different kind of differences in communications, bad communications versus good communications during a power outage, and how people's forward-looking kind of energy plans may be affected during this scenario, even the trust in their utility company, or how they value reliability. Really, that has changed as a lot of the population is working from home.
It's been our privilege to work with you and your brilliant team and all of the brilliant people at EPRI as well. Originally, SRP wanted to predict our grid resiliency and our disaster response capabilities in the face of multiple simultaneous events. It's a really complicated thing to analyze, if not impossible to do well. We weren't really sure what to do. And so we've had a wonderful time exploring what the synthetic city can do. It cuts through the fog of that complexity. We found that the synthetic city simulation, it connects something like, 200 separate models together. And those focus models inform each other to describe individual human behavior as well as our electric load, the behavior of our assets, civic infrastructure, and much more in the face of those scenarios. So we can observe behavior before, during, and after the event. I think this project has been economical for us, very economical. It's been educational for me. It's extensible. We can use it for much more than we thought. It's energizing. We're having lots of fun with it. So many thanks again to everyone at RWI Synthetics and at EPRI. It's a privilege to work with all of you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary. So just to wrap up here, this was, as I said at the beginning, intended to be a proof of concept, and that concept was, in our view, very much proven and exceeded our expectations. I think the thing to think about is going forward, this sets the stage for even larger, more extensive applications of this type of synthetic modeling platform, and can be applied to larger real-world environments as a digital twin, with the inclusion of actual local data, both grid data as well as community infrastructure data. And I think the last thing I want to say is that the visualizations that have been afforded through the modeling platform and tools and presentations that the RWI team put together have been outstanding, and I think can serve as effective decision analysis tools to help utility executives and decision makers. So with that, on behalf of the EPRI team that had the privilege of working on this, I want to thank Myrna Bittner and her team at RWI, and Gary Rector at SRP, as well as our other utility advisors for their input throughout this project. Thank you.